Farm Basics is brought to you by the Liberty Link trait and Liberty herbicide from Bayer. The most reliable weed management solution, Liberty Link and Liberty herbicide are the link to efficient row crop production and sustainable weed management.
Our Farm Basics time each week is a little segment we do just to talk to especially non-farmers about what we as farmers do. And our topic today is, what do we do in the wintertime?
Oh boy, there's a lot of things. You know, it's just kind of like asking other professions, well, what do you do in your time off? And many times it's, oh man, I got to do all the prep work it takes to be ready to go when the conditions are right or when the time is right. And that's exactly what happens for farmers. Let's just start with machinery, for example. Now, when we get done with harvest, we've got all these trucks and tractors and combines and tillage implements that have been running hard through the fall months. Farmers bring them into their sheds and try to work on them over the winter. They'll try to fix whatever is needing replacement or whatever's been worn out on their piece of equipment. And they can do that at this time of year when they still remember, hey, remember that problem we were having with the disc, or remember that problem we were having with the combine? Get it fixed right away, clean up the equipment so it's ready to go for next year.
The thing I was going to go to first is just grain handling. If I have a good crop, and we did have a pretty good crop on our farm this year, that's a lot of grain hauling we have to do. So basically on corn, for every 5 acres, I have a semi-load of grain. And if I haul it 50 miles away, how many loads can I really get out in a day? 2 or 3 loads a day. And I've got lots of loads to do because we had roughly 1,200 acres of corn and 1,500 acres of soybeans on our farm. So yeah, with soybeans, I mean, we don't have quite as much hauling as what we do with corn, but there's still a lot of hauling there too. So this is a job that for most farmers will take 3 to 5 months. Well, that can suck up your whole winter if that's when you sold your grain.
The other thing we were talking about as we started the show is reading soil tests. You know, we did a lot of soil sampling on our farm this fall, and I know a lot of other farmers across the country have done the same thing. So we get those results back from the lab, we take a look at them and say, all right, what happened in that field? What nutrients do we need? And we've already addressed some of those issues with our fall fertility plan, but now we'll be also supplementing the fertility on that ground with what we do with our planter, with side dress applications. We'll start planning a lot of those things out. So going into next year, the plans are set. All we have to do is execute them.
Yeah, there are a lot of things there, planning out the seed and the crop protection, the fertilizer, the insurance, all the things we're going to do on their farm. How about not just our short-term plans, but our long-term plans? There is a lot of planning that does go into this whole thing.
Well, variable rate planting and variable rate population, that kind of stuff all takes place in the winter time, where farmers will look back at their yield maps, they'll look at their soils maps and fertility maps and try to figure out, okay, in which area of the field can I boost the population, plant more plants to try to take advantage of a good situation in the field, and then also other areas that aren't maybe as productive as soils that we can plant lower populations to try to be successful there as well.
The last big thing I guess I would bring up is just a lot of farmers spend much of their time in the winter learning. They're trying to get smarter at how to raise a better crop, how to better fertilize, how to better control the weeds, picking the right varieties, all these things. You don't just learn those overnight. So farmers do spend a lot of time going to workshops, talking to other farmers, really studying. It's a big part of what a farmer does and what he needs to do to be successful.
And finally, if a farmer's ever going to take a vacation, this is the time of year to do it, because during the growing season, you just can't leave. Especially, you look at planting, and from planting on, you're just constantly busy, whether that's doing some sort of pest protection out in the field or pulling plant tissue analysis or scouting fields. I mean, it just runs all the way up into harvest, and then we kind of start this whole process all over again.
Well, once again, you may not hear about all these things that a farmer does in the wintertime, but farmers are very busy all throughout every winter. Well, one of the things that farmers are doing in the winter is they're planning their pest control, especially if they have our Weed of the Week. Can you identify this week's weed?